Now, let's move on to something that's a little bit pressing, I believe, in today's society when it comes to teaching, and that is why teacher well-being matters. So in recent years, we hear more about teacher well-being, and this is one of the main pillars of our project. So in your opinion, why has this become such an important topic in today's society and in Europe?
Recently, the demands for educators have significantly risen. Emotionally, physically, administrative, and now with the AI and the technology. And this had a significant impact on teachers' stress, burnout, and attrition rates across Europe. So feeling okay is not is a priority actually for the teachers, because teachers, if they feel empowered and if they feel supported, they thrive. So they thrive in their classroom, their students thrive, and you can see the impact to the school and the community and the students, of course, as well. So teachers' well-being is an important aspect of societies and school environments specifically.
Yes. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's podcast, Supporting Teachers at EU Level, Wellbeing and the Future of Teaching. So today, before we start with the introduction of today's podcast, we would like to extend a warm thank you to Podcast Therapy by Unitrust Media for hosting us here today and allowing this podcast to take place. So, beginning with the topic of today's discussion, we will be reflecting mainly on the first annual Teachers Haven Congress that took place at the European University of Cyprus in February. Now, this Congress brought together educators, researchers, psychologists, and it included keynote speeches, workshops, and seminars. Now, in this episode in particular, we will be concentrating and reflecting mostly on key insights that have arisen by our educators, by our keynote speakers during this Congress. So before we begin with the formal introduction of our guest speaker, we would like to say a few words about our organization, which is the host of today's podcast. Eurosuccess Consulting is an organization that is Cyprus-based, and it has experience of over 15 years in education, in training, and in EU project implementation. Our team has worked extensively in the creation of digital tools, in helping the professional development of educators, and in creating inclusive learning environments. Through our involvement with the Teachers Haven project, but of course through other initiatives, we are very much committed to empowering educators and supporting innovative pathways for well-being and of course for self-growth. Now, at this point, I would like to welcome our guest speaker for today. Today, we are joined by Dr. Eleni Epifaniou from European University of Cyprus. She's the chair of the Department of Psychology and Social Sciences, and of course, assistant professor in health psychology. EUC, European University of Cyprus, is also an official partner of the Teachers Haven project as well. So a few words about Eleni, and then she can have the floor. Eleni brings strong academic and research expertise in areas such as psychology, in areas such as education and well-being. And of course, she has also played a key role in the organization and the hosting of the Teachers Haven Congress. Eleni, thank you so much for being with us today. And if you would like, you can tell us a few words about your academic background and the work you do at the European University of Cyprus.
First of all, thank you for the invitation, Anna. As correctly you said, I am the chair of the Department of Psychology and Social Sciences at the University of Cyprus and European University of Cyprus, and a health psychologist. My research interests, they focus around burnout, well-being, resilience, and how illness perceptions influence caregivers and patients' adjustment to their journey. Now, in regards to Haven, I bring knowledge around burnout and well-being, and I have a background and research on burnout and how it develops in different professions, in this case education. Resilience, which is a term used to describe how individuals adjust to adversities, psychologically and physically. Resilience is an important aspect of our project in Teachers Haven. And as a health psychologist, we are trained to develop programs for development, training programs which are evidence-based. So I bring my knowledge on how to develop training programs, in this case for educators, either in training or in practice.
Perfect. That's an extensive background, and renowned researcher and academic in this project. So, Eleni, we can start with a discussion, but first let's say to the listeners and the viewers a few words about our project. So as you've known, Teachers Haven project is an Erasmus Plus project, and it is under the call of Teachers Academy. Now, as Eleni has already touched upon a little bit, we have three main pillars in this project, and that is to help the educators in Europe to feel more supported, to feel more resilient, so to help them with their well-being. And of course, we also want to create an environment for them to feel like they can communicate and they can support one another, by creating a community for educators around Europe. So the Teachers Haven, the first annual Teachers Haven Congress, is one of the actions that is foreseen by the project. So, Eleni, the scene has been set. So we can start with the actual questions. So I will start with the first one. So what were the main goals behind bringing together educators, researchers, and professionals in this Congress?
The aim was to create a shared space where teachers, educators, psychologists, and researchers, in an open dialogue and collaboration, they could share their experiences, they could share their challenges, they could share their struggles, always with the aim to exchange ideas for the best of the educating profession.
And that was indeed the case, as I was also present in the Congress. That was indeed the case in what actually happened. We had a lot of insightful discussions between our experts, but of course by people, because we had visitors as well, teachers and educators, that we allowed them, we gave the floor to them to share their own ideas, when it comes to teacher well-being and when it comes to the actual teaching scene in Cyprus. Now, I would like for you to tell me the kind of atmosphere that you have observed during the event.
It was a warm, welcome, open atmosphere. All participants, they were not only listening, but they were actually also actively engaging in the discussions, in the workshops, while the keynote speakers completed their talk. So in a sense of, in a space of collaboration and community, they interacted and they exchanged ideas, they exchanged strategies, and collaboratively worked to see what best influences educators' well-being.
Yes, exactly. And if I may add here, I remember that it was very interesting that we had feedback not only from people from Cyprus, because the Congress was in Cyprus, and we had a lot of Cypriots joining, but our partners, the consortium from Teachers Haven, also joined in, and they gave us different realities, for example, Italy, from example, Poland. So that was actually pretty interesting also for Cypriots to expand, their horizons and hear more from people out there. So thank you so much for this. And now let's move on to something that's a little bit pressing, I believe, in today's society when it comes to teaching, and that is why teacher well-being matters. So in recent years, we hear more about teacher well-being, and this is one of the main pillars of our project. So in your opinion, why has this become such an important topic in today's society and in Europe?
Recently, the demands for educators have significantly risen. Emotionally, physically, administrative, and now with the AI and the technology. And this had a significant impact on teachers' stress, burnout, and attrition rates across Europe. So feeling okay is not, is a priority actually for the teachers. Because teachers, if they feel empowered and if they feel supported, they thrive. So they thrive in their classroom, their students thrive, and you can see the impact to the school and the community and the students, of course, as well. So teachers' well-being is an important aspect of societies and school environments specifically.
Yes, thank you for this, because actually I also have a background of teaching, of course, not in such a professional setting such as Eleni, in a university, but I, from my humble opinion as well, teacher well-being was one of the most neglected topics when I was a teacher, because you should just teach, as long as you go into the classroom, you follow the syllabus, that's okay, that's done, work. But that's not really the case. And I am very happy that we saw perspectives such as this one coming from researchers and experts, not just from people just saying, oh yeah, teacher well-being matters. No, it matters because of this and this reason. And we saw that in many seminars and keynote speeches where experts came in with backed up science, supporting that the fact that if the teacher is okay, the teacher is happy in the classroom, then the students are also happy.
Correct.
So coming from your more educated perspective, as a professional, what do you think are the key elements that help teachers maintain professional balance and motivation?
They want to be, from the needs analysis, it came out that they need to be valued. And they need to be valued not only from the school environment, they need to be valued between them, and they need to be valued from the parents' perspective as well. So there is a significant struggle of teachers and parents. They need to receive well-being training and at the same time have resources for well-being. They need to be supported, and supported not only from the school environment, but they need to feel supported from their colleagues as well. Another thing that came out when we were doing the focus group with teachers in practice, receiving support from their peers was an important aspect of their well-being. And of course, help them maintain a healthy balance between work and family life.
I would like to add here, because what Eleni is talking about is the needs analysis and the fieldwork that we have done in the early stages of the project. So we had roundtables, we had focus groups, as Dr. Eleni has said, with teachers. Was it also in training and in experienced teachers, correct?
Correct.
Yes, we had also teachers in training and also teachers that they have been teaching for a while, and we received that feedback from them. We also had questionnaires, and that is not only from Cyprus, that is like throughout the consortium of the Teachers Haven project. So this is something that is backed up again by data and by science. Now, this is very important for us to understand, to keep in mind when it comes to creating, the kind of environment for teachers to thrive. Now, I would like to move on now to the insights and the lessons from the Congress, because it's one of the main topics of today's discussion, what we actually learned from the Congress. So from discussions now and the exchanges, Eleni, what key insights stood out to you?
Two. One of them is that that well-being is multidimensional. So it's on the individual's level and it's on the system level as well. So if a teacher if a teacher's level of well-being are significantly high, as I said before, they thrive in class, they thrive in their school. And it's a part of connectiveness between the teacher and the student, and at the same time between the teacher and their colleagues. And another thing is that it's systemic. Teachers, they need to be empowered through the school systems and the opportunities the schools offers to them to thrive, to engage their students in class, and to offer to the community back due to the empowerment they receive from the school.
I agree with both points you have raised, because that was also one of the key insights that stood out to me from the discussions that I was witnessing. But also, I would like to add here, my own opinion. I saw a lot of, because you said systemic, and I saw a lot of systemic issues that arising from the system from each different country. So I remember we had our experts all lined up, and they were giving us insights from the different countries. Italy, they were giving us insights from Cyprus, from Poland, from Portugal. So even from Spain as well. And I remember that people were saying that it's a problem that goes beyond us.
Yes.
We can work on our well-being, but it's a problem that goes beyond us. Like, for example, I remember the Italian partner, he was saying that, every year we have the curriculum changing, and what is asked from the teachers is constantly changing. So you need to constantly, keep up with what is needed from you and deliver that. What is needed from me, deliver that as well. And this is something that actually hinders, the work and the actual well-being of teachers. And I don't know if you agree with that as well.
It hinders their motivation as well, because it doesn't allow them, in a way, a space to in the curriculum where they can add their own knowledge, their own expertise. So it hinders, like you're saying, yes, their well-being.
Exactly, and we are in the process as well of creating training materials for our project, and we are looking at syllabus. And me myself, I don't have that much of extensive experience in syllabi, but we're looking at that from our academic experts, and we see that it's very delineated.
Yes.
What you need to do is there, and it's in bullet points. You cannot really deviate from that, or can you?
It depends, but if it's a curriculum that is given by the Department of Education, then they cannot easily deviate, because at the end they need to they need to complete a set of learning objectives, a set of activities which they will equip students for the next level.
Exactly. This is I'm raising this because this was something that stood out to me during the Congress, but also during the training material creation. So, Eleni, did any let me phrase it differently.
Yes.
So the participants, what were they mostly interested in discussing? The people, that they were, the audience were looking at us.
They were their challenges. And it's fascinating, the fact that even if it's a project coming from different European countries, you can see differences, but you can see similarities as well. But most of the participants were eager to share their challenges and eager to listen from the experts what solutions they can provide, so that it impacts positively their well-being and therefore their work with their students.
I could not agree more, because I remember I was approaching our participants while our keynote speakers were getting ready, and I was engaging in chit-chatting with our participants. And I remember one participant in particular, she was Cypriot. She told me, "Oh, this is the program, okay? Let me tell you, Anna, about my problems." Immediately, and I was like, they're here for a reason.
Yeah. What does this say to you? That they need to be listened to.
Yes, exactly. And I'm so glad that we have people there that they actually were interested, actually interested. I mean, to me, it pained me a little bit, listening to her challenges, because as a person, I could not do anything. But of course, that was a moment that I realized that what we're actually doing here in the project is not just something that we're just doing it just for the project. It actually gives back to the people, back to the educators.
It gives back because we already listened from the needs analysis and the field work. So we listened, and based on that, we are giving back through the training program.
Yes, exactly. This is why I also wanted to raise the issue before about the field work, because what we're doing is based on what we receive from the educators out there from different countries in Europe. So excellent. Now let's go. We were talking about the insights, and now let's transition a little bit to the practical takeaways for the educators. So, Eleni, in your opinion, if a teacher is listening right now to this podcast, which I anticipate that they are, what is one or two main ideas they could take away from the Congress?
First of all, they are not alone. So even if they are coming from Poland, Portugal, Spain, Cyprus, or Italy, they have shared experiences and shared challenges. And the other thing is that well-being is, as I said before, multidimensional, so it comes within us. So it's something that can be cultivated, it can be developed. So I decide as a teacher to maintain healthy balance between my work and my family life. Have limits in my communication and the way I communicate with parents. Request support from their peers, because from the focus group it came out that feeling supported from my peers is a very important aspect of maintaining their well-being.
You said something that really stood out to me: family, personal life and work balance. Because I remember in one of our trips together for this project, because we were traveling all together, you were all professionals, teachers, educators, and professors. And you were telling me that, I finish work and then I have the second shift, which is family. Yeah. And I don't know, in your opinion or in your experience, how do you balance this two? I feel like this is also going to be very interesting for our listeners, because I feel like you just never stop.
Yes.
It's just like a continuum.
Yes, it can be, if you allow it, it can be a continuum. And at home, you can wear, if you allow it, the two hats, the hat of the teacher and the hat of the family individual as well. So putting boundaries, for example, it's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, I close my PC and I open it the next day. The other thing you can do is the feeling I will be finishing in half an hour, a little bit more, a little bit more. That little bit more gives another extra hour, 2 more extra hours where you have to work.
Exactly.
So when the feeling of a little bit more comes, you need to close the PC and stop working. And I'm saying this because these are two examples that if we realize them at the beginning, it minimizes the possibility of burnout in the future.
Which is very crucial.
Which is very crucial, because burnout and well-being are very closely connected. If you're burnout, then it impacts negatively your well-being.
Well, what you said, I see that right now in my friends who are teachers. They have no work-life balance. Work is, during the teaching hours, and then work is also, let me correct, grade papers. Let me do a lesson plan while we're out in a cafeteria or something. So I'm like, it never ends, really. And again, I would like also to make a little note on what you've said about peer support. You're never alone. This is the first thing you've said when I asked you the question. So in your opinion, what what role can peer support and collaboration between teachers can help?
They share challenges. They share solutions to those challenges. It significantly minimizes the feeling of isolation. It increases resilience. So if a teacher is, at least what research shows, if a teacher is in an environment where they feel supported physically and emotionally by their peers, they thrive. The resilience levels are significantly increased. It reinforces creativity and it reinforces as well a sense of belonging. All of these have a positive impact on their well-being, and you can see that on the way they engage their students in class, and at the same time they maintain motivation through the years. And this is something, again, as I said before, which came from the in-service teachers when I was running the focus group. Peer support was a very important aspect, either primary sector or secondary education.
Quite interesting, Eleni, and right now I'm diverging a little bit from the questions we have here, but you're saying very interesting things that I would like to get your opinion on peer support, because, for example, when I was a teacher, peer support to us meant let's hang out and create lesson plans together. This was our peer support. Maybe ask you a few questions here and there on how to deliver this lesson, and what do you think about this lesson's objectives? Is this what you think as peer support? Is this what came out in the focus groups, or?
This was one of the aspects, so practical solutions and support. But emotional support was another. So when I say emotional support, I feel frustrated, I feel isolated, I feel disencouraged. If you have a peer within the school environment who they can provide emotional support and understanding, so I'm emotionally understood, I'm not overreacting, I'm not crazy, most people would say that, it's normal. This is what other peers feel. So the first thing that instantly normalize the feeling you have.
I think it's also about being the therapist to one another. I think this is what you were trying to say in one phrase, just being the therapist to one another.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I realized as well. Now that I'm not in the teaching sector anymore, I do, because my friends are primarily teachers. So what I hear from them is essentially, them trying to help each other in, okay, help me create this lesson plan. What do you think about this? How do I teach that? How do I deliver that? And then I also hear them saying, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot, I am so tired. I'm tired of talking. I hear so many of my friends coming home and telling me, don't talk to me for at least an hour. I'm all talked out for today. But they sit together in silence,
They have so much stimulation in class. You have at least 20 to 25 children, 20 to 25 different personalities, different characteristics. So it's very challenging to deal with this diversity. And these children, they come with their parents. So you deal with children and you deal with parents. So I can totally understand them if they want at least an hour of silence when they come home.
Yes, exactly. I get that a lot when they have, I don't know if you also have that at the, no, you don't have at university. Talking with parents.
Talking with parents sometimes, but the noise you described before, the noise, your friends requesting when they come home to have an hour of silence, we have that as well. Even if you deal with the students, but you still have that. The auditoriums are much bigger, to be honest. Yes. You deal with adults, but adults can sometimes be children as well.
Very young adults. You're dealing with very young adults. When I was a university student, I did not consider myself an adult. It's like a teenager kind of adult.
You are in the middle.
I was in the middle.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for teaching this kind of age group, because I could not. So I don't know how you're doing it, but thank you for doing it.
Doing my best.
Yes. All right. So again, moving now from, we talked about the Congress and the insights and then the practical takeaways. Now we're going to move a step further and look ahead to what comes next. So again, the Congress is the first annual Congress, so we have more coming up and we have more actions coming up, such as boot camps and whatnot. So, Eleni, how does the Congress connect to the broader goals of the Teachers Haven initiative? Because as I said, it's just one action.
Yes, it is one action, well-being and personal growth, It's one of the pillars of the Teachers Haven. We have two more pillars. One of them is to develop evidence-based training for professional skills and self-efficacy. And the other pillar is to establish an international network of collaboration between teachers across Europe.
The last thing that you said, the international aspect, is very important as well, because this is something that we're trying, I think, to drill into our participants at the Congress in Cyprus, because as I said, we had the experts and the partners coming from other, European countries, but most of our participants were Cypriots. So what we're trying to drill into them is that this is an international, an EU level initiative. So what they're going to get out of this is support from teachers throughout Europe. And I feel like also for Cypriots, knowing how we are as a as culture, as people, we tend to be a little bit more closed off. So I think that through the Congress and through the different actions that we're going to have in the project, but also as well from the key results, because we're going to have the community, as you've said, connecting the educators together. What everyone will be gaining is a family, but that goes beyond the country's borders. You're going to have people giving you opinions, giving you their insights, how teaching is like in Spain, how teaching is like in Poland. And maybe you learn something you didn't know, or you reassess how you have been working, as a professional. I feel like I personally learned a lot by listening to our partners talk about their realities in their own different countries. So again, another a little bit more hopeful question. So what do you hope participants will carry forward after this event? Maybe our listeners and our viewers have not been at the Congress. Pretty sure some have been. So again, what do you want to tell our listeners or viewers to carry from this event forward?
What I said before, first of all, they are not alone. So even there are shared experiences across teachers, across Europe. The other thing I hope is that from the workshops they attended, they can take some of the strategies and some of the techniques they were instructed in the workshops, and they can implement them in their teaching practice.
We had a lot of fun workshops.
Especially the one with the music.
Yes, we had a workshop with music. It was a pretty interesting one. Our expert who was doing this workshop was he had a lot of ideas. So we're standing up, we're doing a lot of things. I mean, I feel like what was the key takeaway from that seminar, that workshop, was essentially to just stand up, let the body, like the blood flow. This is what we're doing with our students. Actually, when I was a teacher, we got them to stand up every 20 minutes. Then again, I was dealing with children. You're dealing with older children. But the idea was to get them to stand up, move around. So one of the final question that I have for you today, Eleni, in your opinion, why are events like this important for the education community across Europe?
It shows continuity. It shows that even if we come within the same country, or even if we come from different countries, we can learn from each other. For example, from the needs analysis, it came out that in some countries, teachers have increased well-being levels and low burnout levels, something that was vice versa in Cyprus. So we can learn from these countries why their teachers have low burnout levels and increased well-being levels. So we can learn at the community level, the school level, but we can learn as well at the individual and personal level.
Yes.
So what the schools do at those countries, and at the same time what individuals do, because as I said before, it's on the individual level and it's on the school community level as well.
Exactly. I feel like just learning in general and just expanding your horizons.
Exactly.
This goes again into the peer support. Again, it's like a peer support. It's your peers might not be the people right next to you.
Correct. Yes, I actually haven't thought of that.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're saying very insightful things. I'm trying to make connections with what you say. Because your peers are everywhere.
Yes, you know? That's so we learn from the peers across Europe
exactly.
as well. Yes.
Peers without borders.
Yes. Well said.
All right. Well, Eleni, thank you so much for this insightful discussion. We have reached the end of today's podcast. We would like, at this point, I would like to again extend a warm thank you to Podcast Therapy by Unitrust Media for having us here today, for allowing us to record this amazing podcast. I would like to extend another warm thank you to Dr. Eleni Epifaniou, the representative from European University of Cyprus, for her amazing insights when it comes to the first annual Teachers Haven Congress. And the last warm thank you I'd like to extend is to our lovely listeners and viewers. You have been here with us. Now, if you would like to stay in touch with, of course, Teachers Haven project, but also with Eurosuccess Consulting, we have a lot of events, projects that we're dealing with. You can follow us on our social media, and you can also visit us on our website at www.euroc.eu. And that was it. Thank you so much. And until the next one, have a good one.
Η Eurosuccess Consulting ιδρύθηκε το 2009 ως ιδιωτική εταιρεία στη Λευκοσία, την πρωτεύουσα της Κύπρου, λειτουργώντας μέσω 3 κύριων τμήματων: επιχειρηματική ανάπτυξη, διεθνή συνεργασία και στρατηγική διαχείριση. Η Eurosuccess Consulting στοχεύει στην υποστήριξη και ενίσχυση της ανταγωνιστικότητας των κυπριακών οργανισμών και φυσικών προσώπων. Αν ανυπομονείτε να εξερευνήσετε τις δυνατότητες και ευκαιρίες σας για επιτυχία και πιστεύετε στον εαυτό σας, εμπιστευτείτε την Eurosuccess Consulting ως τον πολύτιμο συνεργάτη σας.